What is up, YouTubers, reviewers, and viewers? This is Cam the Lego Man back with a brand new video for today. Today, this video is going to be all about my personal wish list for the D2C Summer 2025 Arkham Asylum set. It's going to be $400 USD, and it is rumored to have around 10 plus minifigs. I'm hoping that this is honestly going to be in the same vein of the Marvel D2C Daily Bugle. It came out for $350 USD and had over 25 plus minifigs. I really do think that the DC and Batman line has kind of been neglected for a good long while now. And I think it'd be cool if this was the step in the right direction, because Arkham Asylum is such an iconic place in the DC universe, and especially Batman's realm. And there's so many cool things they could do with it. I think personally, they should make it how it looks kind of in the Arkham games. I think that is one of the best interpretations, obviously, besides the comics that we have as Arkham Asylum. But I don't think they're going to do that. But what I think they could do is at least throw in a few hints from the game to kind of please that crowd, which is me. I am that crowd. I think Arkham Asylum City are some of the best games ever. Nights, okay. But what I think they could do is throw in maybe like a little Easter egg during the build, or maybe even with some of the minifigures, which I will get into. But I think a cool little Easter egg we could have is maybe like one of those roach signs that you find. I say roach. It's not a roach. It's obviously a beetle. I don't know why I said that. And then maybe you could throw in a vial of Titan. I think Titan would be such a cool Easter egg to throw in. It's obviously a good hint for those who played the games. Starting off my minifigure wish list, though, I think for the first few I'm going to be a little boring. I think you honestly need to fill in the set with things that make sense. So I think having like 3 random guards. Again, I'm going based off of 25 minifigures, which again the Daily Bugle had. I would say that the first few are probably going to just be random guards that we have, okay? Just the first 3 of the set should just be random unnamed guards. Really doesn't matter. Just throw in 3 guards. Next on the list, I think we should have 1 named guard, which is a tie to the Arkham games. It'd be Aaron Cash. I think having Aaron Cash would be such a cool little Easter egg for fans who played the games, and I think at this point he's grown on me as a character, and I'd like to see him pursued more in like actual DC things. Next on the list, I haven't seen a lot of people ask for this person either, but I think this person would be pretty good for the set. It'd have to be Warden Quincy Sharp. No one ever speaks on him, but I think he is one of the ones that make the most sense to put in the set. Up next, it's got to go to Hugo Strange. Hugo Strange is iconic to the Batman lore. Hugo is a doctor, but he is obviously also insane. Like, I'm pretty sure at one point he actually just wants to be Batman. Like, he's so obsessed with Batman that he has a Batman suit just with him. Like, he's just a strange guy. The next 2 are pretty obvious. I gotta give them to Batman and Robin. You can't have an Arkham set without 2 of the most iconic characters of all time, and most of the people in there are because of the dynamic duo. I think next up on the list, I'm definitely going to have to make it a duo minifig, so we're going to have 2 minifigs that take the place of one person. So it's got to be Jonathan Crane and the other half of him, the Scarecrow. It just makes sense to me why they would throw him in this particular set. You could have him in his own little area where he's testing on inmates with some of the gas that he has, and then, you know, maybe like a twist function to show the actual Scarecrow coming out or something cool like that. To me, it makes sense, and I think it'd be a cool little play feature. Next on the list, I'd have to give it to Victor Zsasz. He's a minifigure we've never seen happen before, and I think it would just be so cool to finally have him, although this one to me is on the less likely side because of how dark he is. Most of Batman's characters are dark, albeit they're comical. Victor Zsasz is literally just a murderer who marks himself with razor blades after his kills. That, to me, in the real world is darker than Joker. I mean, obviously Joker does terrible things, but he is, again, comical. Next on the list, I'd have to give it to the Mad Hatter. He is somebody who just has not had any love ever. We've seen him in the Lego Batman games, but that's just not enough. I'd love to have that little goofy guy, Jervis, in minifigure form, and it'd be really cool to throw him in this set. I don't know where else they'd put him, so why not here? Next on the list, I'm just going to have to give it to a psychiatrist. Just make it another random minifigure, throw him in there. It is a mentally insane institution, so you got to have psychiatrists. I have to give the next one to another psychiatrist, Dr. Harleen Quinzel. I don't think it'd make any sense to not have her in this set. I know we've gotten her in the Lego Batman movie sets, but I think it'd be cool to bring her back for this one in particular. Next up, the Joker. You cannot have an Arkham set without arguably the craziest person of all time, the Joker, the Jonkler, whatever you want to call him, he's got to be in this set.
Well, I'm the Joker, baby.
Next on the list, it's got to be Clayface, but this time in minifigure form. I think we've gotten a lot of brick-built ones, and they have been pretty good. My favorite one being the Lego Batman movie one. That one just looks pretty accurate. But I want a minifigure one like the one that we've seen in the Lego Batman game. That one has been so iconic to me for a very long time, and I know I'm not the only one asking for it. But I think this time you could use, I believe it was like a little slime guy or alien dude from the video series. It's really not a good series, but that piece in particular that I'm going to throw on screen makes most sense to put on Clayface. Maybe not make it translucent like I'm pretty sure it is, but to me that makes the most sense and would be a very, 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 very welcomed addition. Next on the list, I got to give it to Black Mask, aka Roman Sionis. He is an iconic Batman character, and I'm surprised they haven't thrown him in anything else. Maybe it doesn't make too much sense to throw him in here, because I don't think he's necessarily insane. He just has a black skull fused to his head, and he is a crime lord. But other than that, I'd be a really cool welcomed addition as well. Next up, besides Clayface, this has got to be my most requested minifigure in the Batman line in a very, 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 very long time. It's got to be Hush. How they have not made Hush, I have no idea. I've seen all the custom minifigures, and they all outdo what I'm pretty sure Lego could do, but I want to be proven wrong, because Hush is such an awesome character. Next up on the list, I gotta put Professor Pig. More so a newer villain in the Batman line. I think he makes sense to be put here. He is an insane guy who wears a pig mask and kills people. What more can I say? Next up, for the crazy people, I gotta give it to the ventriloquist with Scarface. I'm not really too sure how they would do Scarface other than making him a little minifigure with the short legs and everything. But to me, it makes sense to throw him in here. He is a crazy person who believes that the doll, Scarface, is controlling him, kind of like Slappy from Goosebumps and all that good stuff. He's insane. It makes sense. Next on the list, it's got to be Ratcatcher. He's only gotten love in the past few years, and I think it only makes sense to throw him in this set as well. He was in, technically, James Gunn's Suicide Squad that came out a few years ago, albeit it was his daughter that was the Ratcatcher. She was Ratcatcher 2. And then some love in the Arkham Shadow VR game as the Rat King. I think it'd be a cool addition. Next up, I also don't think you could have an Arkham Asylum set with at least doing a throwback to the OG one. You gotta have Nightwing in there. I would really like it if they threw in the weird hair that they had. It doesn't really fit Nightwing, but for Lego at the time, it was such a cool thing to have. I don't know why it was. It just was. And again, back to the boring for the last three. It's gotta go to just the crazies. I'm technically referring to the ones in Arkham. It could be just the thugs of whoever they are. But to me, it makes sense to throw crazies in here because, again, this is a mental institution. But, just have some random inmates. They don't all have to be named Batman villains. It would be cool to just have a few crazy people in there. So what did you guys think of my list? Do you agree with the majority of it? I'm super personally excited about this new set, and I cannot wait to get it as soon as it comes out and build it and hopefully do a review on it. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Bye.